What is going on, you guys? My name is Rach and I am back today with another video for you all. In today's video, it's gonna be tailored to the beginners and newer players out there, hoping to just share some insights, some tips and tricks for you guys, things I kind of wish I knew when I started the game. And you know, I haven't made a video like this in a while, but figured I'd just reflect on my past experiences, provide you some insight. And again, this is gonna be for newer players and beginners, so hopefully if you guys are watching this, you'll be able to learn something and be able to assist you in your journey as you're starting this game. Number one here, you guys, the really big important thing is honestly resource management. And what I'm referring to is in the top right here, you can see, there's gold, there's power cores, there's campaign energy, and now there's also ISO 8 energy. And you really do need to manage the resources that are restricted. So in this case, gold and power cores on the left, they're utilized for almost every currency in the game, especially power cores being able to provide you with more campaign energy. Gold is the fuel for all your character in terms of being able to go in, leveling up your characters here, upgrading their tier levels, increasing their ability level. Everything drives that gold factor. And I've definitely seen a lot of players where they have a large amount of cash and they just blow it out right from the get-go. And that does put you in an unfortunate position, because really, this game is about kind of managing your funds, right? If you had $26 million in real life, would you go right away and spend it? You have to treat the game almost kind of like reality, in the sense that there's a budget. You have a set budget that you can maintain. Additionally, thanks to all the dailies that we do as well every day, going through the checklist, you can see we get money here, right? So especially when you clear all the rewards and whatnot, that's just one aspect of generating money back. When you go to the challenges here, we also have the Gold Rush challenge that always runs, obviously every Sunday, and I believe it's Monday. But they also provide opportunities for us to get gold back. So it's really about managing that and making sure you're using it smartly. Another good example would be when you go to the supply stores here. I'm very strategic in what I buy, because I only take a look at the items that are obviously lacking. So if I have 10,000, of the superior basic catalyst parts, I'm not going to go ahead and spend money there. But I am trying to build up unstable cloth, so when I see an opportunity where I only have 13, you bet I'm going to go ahead and buy that, right? So it's really being smart and strategic about buying those resources when you can. And these, just for future reference, you guys, these do refresh whenever you have the daily refreshes in the day. So as you can see here, in 39 minutes, it's going to refresh for the next part. For my time, it's it resets at 9 o'clock, as well as 6 o'clock here. Or, I'm sorry, I believe it's 5 o'clock. So 9 o'clock and 5 o'clock resets, and that's when I actually take a look. And obviously, when it's midnight your time, it also refreshes. So 3 times a day, it should refresh. That's where you can go through and take a look at your purchases. But number one thing, you guys, make sure you're using your resources smartly and saving it. For me, same thing with power cores. We talked about gold power cores. I honestly only use power cores if either A, I use it to, for the instance, the most recent event with Scream, to refresh and gain additional event energy. That's what I'm going to utilize power cores for refreshing, right? Additionally, with stature coming, that's definitely going to be another factor. The other reason I like saving power cores is because whenever you do have a new character coming out, they also have these release of orbs, and these characters are only available for a certain amount of time. So that's another time that I would use. And again, this is going to be the last resort if I ever want to just get a character up to 5 stars potentially. 4 or 5 stars is always my goal. So as you can see here, I could go ahead here and use 500, but I don't even know how many shards I'm going to get in the event yet. So that's why I'm not using that just yet. But obviously for those looking to, that has a huge mass pile of the power cores, please go ahead and use it when you need to. But just keep in mind, right, the budget's important. That really does help you drive your game, and as well as your progression. So that's a really big thing. Next, you guys, another thing I would like to talk about is just having a goal, having a purpose in this game, because I think a lot of times if you don't have, it's just kind of like in reality, if you don't have a game plan, you don't have an idea of where you want to be, the game is just going to feel like a grind. It's just going to feel it's never ending, and then honestly you may not even have fun, right? You have to have a goal in mind. For me, it's it's going to be ultimately getting Doom that's in the game, and to get Doom, you're going to need characters that can not only be able to clear Dark Dimension 3, which is considered the end game here, but ultimately it's going to be Dark Dimension 4, right? So I'm currently building characters now for Dark Dimension 3. So that leads us to the question, which characters are going to use for Dark Dimension 2, Dark Dimension 3, so forth. So I do have, this is something that newer players, you're going to get exposed to it as you progress in the game. But, Voltage Sauce made this really beginner-friendly, as you can see here, this infographic that basically shows you which characters are really powerful. And as a newer player, you may not know which characters are good, right? So that's why it's a great idea to always do research, see which characters are always respected and reused. This is really what kind of helped me in terms of being able to identify who I utilize for my Dark Dimension 2. So as you can see here, I followed this actually almost to the T. My Dark Dimension 2 characters were Symbiote Spider-Man, Hela, Minerva, Mr. Sinister, and then last but not least, Invisible Women. And all 5 of them actually are, as you can see here, tier S. So, this really did help me kind of navigate. I'm going to share this, obviously, this link in the description below for your reference. But this, if you take a look at this infographic, it just provides information in terms of the high quality characters. Because at the end of the day, you're also going to want characters that can assist you in terms of progression and being able to unlock the legendaries that you're looking for. Which brings me to my next talking point here. And legendaries, I recently made a video with Az, aka Beyond the Tube, and I definitely recommend you guys checking it out because we really laid out a clear phase plan in terms of how to progress in the game. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be obviously no character or player is ever going to be the same in terms of how you progress, because you're just going to have those instances where maybe you just got lucky when you opened a Mega Orb and you got 50 shards of Hela, or the Premium Orb here. It's always going to be kind of based on RNG, but we kind of laid out a pretty definitive game plan in terms of how you should attempt the legendaries, especially unlocking them, and it makes sense. Obviously, like I said, you don't have to follow it to the bone, but I definitely, if I were you guys, I'll put in the link in the description below, but I would check it out if I were you, just to kind of get a sense of which legendaries can be unlocked and which one actually do provide value. And like I said, it's just going to be able to provide that insight that you may or may not really be aware of when you're starting out in the game, especially when you take a look here with all these different characters, right? And which ones are good, which ones are bad, which teams are even good and whatnot, right? So that brings me actually to my next point here. Big shout out to Reminex and a lot of the guys that just put this together, but this is something I refer off of almost every day, especially when I'm not really sure, especially if it's a team I haven't really used too much of and I'm trying to upgrade ISO 8s here. But their team, shout out to these guys, they put together this comprehensive list of basically their teams that they see in order from strongest to weakest. Additionally, they laid out the characters here in addition to their ISO 8. So this is just an information station. I have this actually bookmarked so that I can refer off of it whenever I just need information in terms of which teams I should be kind of building, which characters should be part of that team. Additionally, the ISO 8 levels for them. So this is also going to go in the description below for your reference, but this is what I mean. Resource management in terms of not only your available resources in the game, but as well as resources like these 3 infographics that I showed you outside of the game, really gives you that kind of background and experience that you don't have, but more experience and more veteran players have taken the time to actually help newer players. And especially given how dynamic the game is now, it's really important to be on top of this. Additionally, these infographics are able just to consolidate a lot of information, which is really good for us, especially as newer players in the game. We just need concise information, right? So with that being said, you guys can clearly just take your time, go through this information, and really hopefully this provides some insight in terms of which characters you should be building, especially for the longer term, which legendaries that you're hoping to unlock based on the characters that you have, and last but not least, which teams are ultimately going to be worth value to you, that can provide value, right? Because like I said, these were based on their usage, how powerful they are in the game. And additionally, there's many content creators out on YouTube that provide a lot of value in terms of reviews, how these teams actually do. So once again, all these things are things that I wish I knew when I started in the game, and it's a really, really big advantage that you have over someone that's just going into the game, going to the roster here, saying oh, I like Mr. Fantastic, why don't I just go ahead and level him up to level 60 and boost him up? So that's what I mean. If you see here, a lot of these characters right now aren't leveled up, and that's not by mistake, right? The reason they're not leveled up yet is because I had an opportunity to level up other characters that obviously had more of an importance. The characters that are relevant in the game right now, characters that a nice little shortcut is you go through the character here and you put the little heart on the bottom. It actually puts them to the top of the list. And these characters that you favorited, they're the ones I'm paying attention to right now, right? So that's why they're there. This is not by mistake. So that's what I mean. Having that game plan, having that kind of forward-thinking mindset, that's really what's going to create efficiencies for you in the game. That's really what's going to give you that kind of goal and that progression plan. And at the end of the day, you're going to feel good about it because you're going to be able to unlock those legendaries that you want to achieve on time, right? Especially based on that projection list. And with that being said, please feel free to check out the video. But another thing I want to bring up then is these guys have taken the time. I'm sorry, I'm not sure the resource, but I found this infographic. They've put a really clear guideline in terms of which legendaries are coming out on which dates, and this is what I mean, right? This is a really good resource. It's a little changed right now because Nick Fury, as you can see here, is coming out a little earlier than expected, but this kind of gives you the idea of when the legendaries are coming, and having this mindset of when they come, you know exactly which characters to farm, and how long you have to farm them, and whether or not you'll make it in time. If not, move on to the next legendary, right? So once again, all these links will be in the description below for your reference. So hope this information was able to help you guys. It's really more kind of a consolidation video in terms of resources for your review. Let me know what your thoughts are, but hopefully these resources can help you newer players out there. I do always appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos and giving me your feedback. I always respect that. Thank you for supporting the channel. Let's keep this community growing, you guys. Have yourselves a great rest of the weekend. We'll talk soon.